Have you ever wondered just how safe it is to fly? You might be surprised to learn that, statistically speaking, air travel remains one of the safest modes of transportation. But today, we're not here to soothe your fears. We're here to dive into some incredible stories of plane takeoffs gone terribly wrong. From miraculous survival stories to tragic accidents, join us as we explore the 15 most dangerous takeoffs in aviation history. United Flight 232. Our first story takes us back to July 19, 1989, when United Flight 232 departed Denver for Chicago. Shortly after takeoff, the unimaginable happened. The tail engine exploded. The pilots faced a 1 in a billion chance of this occurring, and the odds of survival were slim. The flight was carrying 296 passengers and crew. When the engine exploded, chaos reigned in the cockpit as the pilots struggled to regain control. Despite the catastrophic engine failure, these skilled aviators managed to maintain some semblance of control. They made a daring attempt to land the plane at Sioux City, Iowa. The odds of success were dismal, but against all expectations, they pulled off a miraculous landing. Unfortunately, 112 people lost their lives in this tragic incident, but 184 survived due to the extraordinary efforts of the flight crew. American Airlines Flight 191. On May 25, 1979, American Airlines Flight 191 was en route from Chicago to Los Angeles. A mere 31 seconds after takeoff, the left engine and pylon assembly separated from the wing, ripping away critical hydraulic lines. This loss of hydraulics made controlling the DC-10 aircraft nearly impossible. As the plane struggled to maintain altitude, it rolled to the left and crashed into a field near the airport. The crash claimed the lives of all 271 people on board and 2 individuals on the ground, making it one of the deadliest aviation accidents in American history. Saudi Arabian Flight 763 and Kazakhstan Airlines Flight 1907. In November 1996, a mid-air collision between Saudi Arabian Flight 763 and Kazakhstan Airlines Flight 1907 stunned the world. The tragic event occurred near New Delhi, India, claiming the lives of all 349 people on both planes. This collision remains one of India's deadliest mid-air disasters. The investigation revealed a chain of unfortunate events, including confusion in air traffic control and the absence of TCAS, traffic collision avoidance system, on one of the planes. Japan Airlines Flight 123. Japan Airlines Flight 123, known as the 𝗪𝗔𝗣𝗏 airline disaster, suffered a catastrophic failure during a domestic flight in Japan. The plane reached nearly 24,000 feet when the pilot made a distress call about losing altitude and having difficulty controlling the plane. About 45 minutes after takeoff, the plane crashed into Mount Takamagara near 𝗪𝗔𝗣𝗏. The crash claimed 520 lives, making it one of Japan's deadliest aviation disasters. It was later determined that a faulty repair had weakened the aircraft's tail, leading to this tragic event. Tenerife Airport Disaster. The Tenerife Airport disaster remains one of the deadliest in aviation history, claiming 583 lives. The incident occurred after a series of unfortunate events and misunderstandings. 2 Boeing 747s, one from Pan Am and the other from KLM, were diverted to Tenerife due to a bomb threat at their intended destination. The airport's single runway became congested with planes, leading to miscommunications and a catastrophic collision on the runway. As a result, 583 people perished in the worst aviation disaster of all time. Aerosooker Flight 5444. On December 20, 2016, Aerosooker Flight 5444 faced a takeoff nightmare in Colombia. The Boeing 727 cargo plane was making a routine delivery when it struggled to lift off the runway. It collided with a fence and a tree before finally becoming airborne. By that time, however, the damage was done, and the plane could barely fly. Tragically, 5 of the 6 crew members lost their lives in this accident. Investigators later revealed that excess weight was a contributing factor, but the weight and balance manifest were never found, leaving some unanswered questions surrounding this crash. China Airlines Flight 642. In August 1999, China Airlines Flight 642 attempted a stopover in Hong Kong during extreme weather conditions caused by Typhoon Sam. The landing was anything but routine. High winds and heavy rain made for a turbulent descent. The aircraft's right side broke off upon landing, and it rolled onto its back, causing the fuel to ignite. 3 out of the 315 people on board lost their lives in the subsequent fire. Air France Flight 447. Now, let's delve into the mysterious disappearance of Air France Flight 447 on June 1, 2009. This Airbus A320 was en route from Rio de Janeiro to Paris, carrying 228 passengers and crew. The aircraft disappeared from radar screens over the Atlantic Ocean, leaving authorities and the world perplexed. Extensive search operations recovered only 50 bodies, leaving the fate of the remaining passengers a mystery. Investigators later revealed that a series of errors by the flight crew, including their failure to respond to a malfunction in the aircraft's speed sensors, contributed to this tragic incident. TWA Flight 2 and United Airlines Flight 78. On June 30, 1956, 2 planes, United Airlines Flight 718 and TWA Flight 2, took off in Los Angeles, heading to Chicago and Kansas City, respectively. Both planes collided mid-air, resulting in a catastrophic event that took the lives of 128 passengers and crew members. This accident led to significant advancements in air traffic control systems and the creation of the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, to oversee air safety. Delta Airlines Flight 191. In August 1985, as Delta Airlines Flight 191 approached Dallas-Fort Worth Airport, a thunderstorm loomed nearby. Lightning flashed around the plane, causing it to encounter a microburst wind shear, a sudden, severe change in wind direction and speed. The plane lost 54 knots of airspeed within seconds, sank rapidly, and struck the ground, bouncing across a highway. This tragic event resulted in the loss of 134 out of 163 lives on board. However, it triggered a 7-year research effort by NASA and the FAA, leading to the development of radar wind shear detectors that became standard equipment on airliners in the mid-1990s. Aloha Airlines Flight 243. Aloha Airlines Flight 243 is a remarkable story of survival. This Boeing 737 was on a short hop from Hilo, Hawaii, to Honolulu when, at 24,000 feet, a large section of its fuselage blew off, leaving passengers exposed to the open air. Miraculously, all but 1 passenger survived this ordeal. The pilot's skill and the structural integrity of the aircraft allowed it to remain flyable long enough for a safe landing. Investigations revealed widespread fatigue damage due to repeated pressurization cycles during the plane's many flights. Swissair Flight 111. Just 1 hour after takeoff on September 2, 1998, Swissair Flight 111's pilots from New York to Geneva smelled smoke in the cockpit. 4 minutes later, they began an emergency descent toward Halifax, Nova Scotia, but the fire was spreading rapidly. Unfortunately, Flight 111 crashed into the Atlantic about 5 miles off the Nova Scotia coast, claiming all 229 lives on board. The fire was traced back to the aircraft's in-flight entertainment network, whose installation led to arcing invulnerable captain wires above the cockpit. This event prompted the FAA to replace flammable mylar insulation with fire-resistant materials. Airbus A320 at Lima Airport. At Lima Airport, an Airbus A320 collided with a fire truck during takeoff, thankfully causing no passenger fatalities. The airline, LAM, confirmed that 102 passengers were on board when it happened. Footage from witnesses showed the Airbus A320 taking off at full speed and hitting the fire truck, which was also traveling at full speed. American Airlines AA383. On October 28, 2016, American Airlines Flight AA383 from Chicago O'Hare to Miami, Florida, encountered a terrifying ordeal during its takeoff roll. The aircraft caught fire and was evacuated. Although 7 passengers and a flight attendant suffered minor injuries during the evacuation, all passengers survived. The accident was the result of the crew rejecting takeoff at high speed due to engine failure. It also led to extensive damage to the aircraft. Investigators identified multiple low-cycle fatigue cracks from an internal material anomaly as the cause of failure in the high-pressure turbine stage 2 disc. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time, fly safe and keep exploring the world.